I try and say yes as much as possible to my son when has a desire or a direction that he wants to go in. Try and say yes. And I notice in myself, there's often an impulse to say no because kids do the darndest things. They do things that I would never do, never want to do, never think to do. Like, put some Cheerios into my orange juice. I'm not going to do that. And when my son's like, can I put Cheerios into my orange juice? Sometimes I have an impulse to say, no, like, we don't do that. That's not a thing that humans do. But there's no harm in putting Cheerios in orange juice. So the right answer should be yes. If you want to put your Cheerios into your orange juice, go for it. See what happens. Maybe you're going to like it. Maybe you'll learn why people generally don't do that. And, that's a small example. But then it gets bigger. And I think one of the keys to successful parenting is saying yes as much as possible and saving those no's for the really like full danger situations. Like, no, you can't jaywalk across the street. No, you can't play with that knife. Play with this spoon. How about that? And that's another thing is to, anytime there's a no, is to give the yes option. So like that, yeah, no, you can't play with that knife. Do you want to play with this dinosaur toy? Or do you want me to supervise you cutting a cucumber with that knife? Like, you want to use that knife. It's a dangerous tool. Depending on how old you are, there's a certain level of activity that's available. And Mike's son loves chopping. He loves knives. Knives are this magic object that we use pretty much every day. Kids see us using them in the kitchen. They're able to like disassemble things. And so, yeah, I started with my son. I think it was bananas was the first thing that we cut up. I'd peel the banana and he really wanted to try it out. So I was like, okay. Another parent taught me this fun saying, hand on top, safe to chop. So you got one hand on the handle and then the other hand on the top of the knife. No chance of cutting your finger. So actually, I want to write a song called Hand on Top, Safe to Chop. Yeah. A couple other thoughts from what you were saying there.
I was just going to see if there's any other examples that you have of saying yes when you wanted to say no.
I mean, there's so many. It's like, can I not wear socks? I want to put my shoes on without socks. It's like the first impulse is no, you got to wear socks. That's what we do. That's what humans do. But what's the downside in not wearing socks? Maybe your feet will hurt. Maybe your feet will be cold. Kids don't care. And so sometimes he doesn't wear socks. And now we're coming into the fall and the winter. It's more important to wear socks. In the summertime, like my kid runs really hot compared to some other human beings. And so sometimes he doesn't wear socks. And I've learned, and it's still a thing that sometimes I'm like, you got to wear socks. And he's like, I don't want to wear socks. And then I was like, at one point I figured out that all his socks were too small. And it was a real pain in the butt for him to get them on. And they didn't feel good on his feet. So we went and we bought some bigger socks, and those are better. But still, sometimes he's like, I don't want to wear socks. And sometimes I fight him because this impulse to say no comes up. And sometimes I'm just say, yes, okay, don't wear socks.
That's not a wedding you're going to. It's just out for a walk. So why does this fight need to be fought? Does this need to be a fight?
Yeah. And then underwear is one where I hold the line and I say, you need to wear underwear. And the reasons are to keep your privates protected and so that your smelly butt isn't exposed as much to the air that I'm breathing.
That's a good one where it's like socks, your choice, underwear, non-negotiable.